Legends. I'm Dennis here with President Marcus, here with Director Hubertito, and our longtime DBG original Inferno 96er back in
Lord
the day.
And Savior.
Lord and Savior, back by popular demand. Parrish, welcome back. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here. Good to be back.
The ladies were all chatting in. We got emails. We got messages. We want Parrish back. So we're out here pushing P this week.
Make the podcast sexy again. That was what I was told.
None of that was true. Just so we're clear about it, none of that was true. It's fine.
Hey, look, Marcus, we need somebody when you go MIA on us. We need somebody here. You know.
No, I appreciate it. That was good.
Guys got life happening. You know, I don't even understand that.
Fair enough. Never mind my background. You know, life is happening. So
that's cool.
But gentlemen, how do y'all feel? How's everyone's weekend? Everyone made it home safe, it looks like, or at least intact somewhat.
I got home at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. So
little DBG after dark out there, maybe?
Yeah,
a little bit of that.
Is that why the well, I know you guys got back. I know you guys wrapped up the Open Cup night late because all the beer was gone.
For sure.
I got home safe.
I'm sad I missed that game though. AV Alta is my new adopted team, man. That logo is great. Them and Hearts of Pine. Actually, did you see the guy with the Hearts of Pine kit?
Yes, I did.
It's the best kit in U.S. soccer, I think. So
it's so rugby, and I love it
for sure.
At the
anyway.
was
I don't know. I look at that.
Yeah. He was at top row supporter section. It's the green, I guess evergreen and navy.
The green stripe kit that might be that might actually be Doc's dad. That might be.
Pretty sure it is. Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Eventually, we're gonna do this USL pod, but for sure, man, lots of things going on, and we absolutely love it. But we're gonna stick to our boys here. I guess we're gonna start with this weekend. Or Go ahead.
Well, let's start with Wednesday night, May 7th, U.S. Open Cup round of 32. We will cover the entire round of 32, other than this game, on our U.S. Open Cup pod that we'll be recording a little later today. So check out our channels for that too. You'll see that up on our socials this week and everywhere else.
What was final attendance for this game? 5,000-ish? A little less, right? Like
4892 was the reported number. So
got
it. Just shy of 5,000 for a Wednesday night. Not terrible. Not it's about half capacity of Toyota Stadium right now.
Didn't even have to bust out the $1 hot dogs.
I know. No $1 hot dogs, no $3 beers. It was not $1 glizzy night. That is a disappointment.
Oh my God, you and your glizzies. I will say though, the same way I don't count MLS teams Open Cup attendance, the same way I don't count last year's MLS Next Pro final, where they said they broke the record, but they were giving the tickets away.
That's fair.
It's like, come on. I think in America we still have an issue with attendance numbers. Like, how hard is it just to be like turnstile? We only count people we scan in. It's simple. But whatever. Anyways, great.
Parrish had a comment there on attendance. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say Wednesday night is also there's a restaurant on the way from where I live to Toyota Stadium. On Wednesday nights they do $7 growler fills. So
whoa.
Yes, I got to the tailgate a little later than I anticipated, but I showed up freshly filled growler, ice cold in hand.
Drop the details.
I didn't need $3 beer night.
Well, here's the question: is this a Dallas Beer Guardians growler that we have on sale at every tailgate for $15?
That's a plug. That's how you do a plug, people. That's how you do a plug.
There we go. Engraved with our logo, of course. Support the supporters group who supports your team. So $15 growlers at all tailgates. Just
growlers for a beer exchange. Always good.
Yes. And we're not selling you beer. You only buy the growlers.
Yes.
Wink, wink.
We do not sell beer. We do not sell alcohol.
So I want to start off with this game. Great win. Got a couple of the guys going. Bernie's back, hopefully, although watching the second game, not so much. I will say we have to talk about the embarrassment of being beat from like
Michael.
That's some Steph Curry. I'm not even going to run up the court types. I'm just going to hit it from here. Giving
you guys rewatched that highlight?
Yes, he was out of position.
Too many times.
And, he missed a bounce. He could have attacked it and got it, but he's like, I'll just let it bounce.
I thought the same thing. Yeah, he probably could have got it on that first bounce.
That's kind of embarrassing. But again,
they got the dub though. Misplayed the first bounce though. I think that's what happened there. I think he just sort of misread it. And you know what? Second professional start for or second, first division start for Michael Colodi. I give him a little bit of a pass on that.
I think he did all right. Other than that, that is a kind of a blunder, unfortunately.
It's almost to the point, like if you were a little more seasoned, I would be saying you can't be playing that boldly, you can't be that far off your line. But he's unseasoned enough that's like you got caught out.
Yeah.
Now that's how you learn that lesson.
He almost got caught out even earlier than that too.
Exactly.
There was one very early where
Must have
he just
missed
sort of scrambled onto. It was like the third or fourth minute. It was very early on. He just scrambled and just fell on top of a live grenade and was able to just keep it out. But it was a little bit of a sketchy start.
Well, I mean,
And
let's go back to the start.
magnificent vision by a third division player
Uh-huh.
to even have the audacity to take that shot.
The balls. I mean, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It's not like they were studying film of Clody and be like, oh, this guy sneaks up. No,
Right.
that was we've learned this in the past 20 minutes.
Yep.
Give him a go.
And you know what? Good on them for coming out swinging because, you weren't going to get anything out of this game unless you went hard, right?
Yeah.
Probably for
I
ABL.
mean,
you would think.
I mean, we can talk about this later, but Open Cup strategy is, 9 men behind the ball and then try to pull a Pittsburgh and last minute steal one.
Oh my gosh.
That's usually the strategy, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Anyways, 3-1.
The goals though, no?
3-1.
Oh, we've lost Marcus.
The good guys. Run down the goals if you would, please.
Well, we did. We got.
Am I gone?
No, we got you. You're back. You're still here. You're good. You're still alive. Don't worry about it. We got first goal was what do we have here? Lucho had a goal. Lucho had the early one, 62nd, in the 3rd minute rather. Lucho had the early goal. That was a nice, beautiful shot, nice and easy.
Good
nice
run, good shot. It was a good goal.
Yep.
I wasn't even in the stadium yet.
I absolutely wasn't in the section yet. I was still in line grabbing beer.
See, I had just put the growler up just a few minutes ago, so I didn't have to buy beer, but I did still have my walk in.
Matter of fact, I was grabbing beer. No, I had beer already. I was on my way up to the room to get flags because we didn't have enough flags down in the section. So I was going to grab some flags, and I heard the stadium go crazy, and I was like, "Oh, look at that!
Yeah,
maybe I'll just stay back here." But
do be like that sometimes.
We rolled out. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I will say so. The first 2 goals are. I'm going to advocate for one of my favorite players. The first 2 goals are reasons I think Siki needs to play forward and not backwards because the contrast between the Open Cup game and when he played this weekend, where he was more of a 6.
Yeah,
he didn't play bad this weekend, but he plays so much more confidently when he's like, I don't have any defensive responsibilities. But that said,
unfortunately, there's a handful of guys that have that same mentality, and somebody's got to get back.
Well, I mean, when you're the DP and you're only 5'4", I'm not calling any names. Defensive responsibility, what exactly? I will say it's starting to frustrate me how often.
I think you're giving him 2 inches of credit too. I think he's listening to 5'2".
Well, when he said he's 5'2", but when he stands on his wallet, he's 6'7". But yeah, it's starting to get a little frustrating, and I think it's because he doesn't have Moose there. Because once Moose came in at the
we'll have to get into that one in the next game for sure.
Yeah, there's an issue there. I think he might have the Zlatan issue where he's like, I'm playing with peons, and it's getting frustrating. Because Zlatan had that really bad too the first year. Like, I'm way above this, but hopefully that's not the issue.
There's a lot of just misconnections with Lucho, and I think it is that he is so far advanced as a player that sometimes he expects people to be 3-4 moves ahead like he is, and they're not. This is Major League Soccer. A lot of these guys are young. A lot of these guys are either early in their career or late in their career on the back half, and this is unfortunately this is what the league is, and you've got to play to your team though, and you can't just be that dude just trying to be the dude all the time and backheeling to the opposing team is never a good look.
Or the dummy. He did that 4 times. The dummy never goes off. I'm like, no one reads that, sir.
And just because everybody you're working with is a bunch of useless buffoons, you still have to bring 100% when you show up. I mean, this is what Marcus does on the podcast week in, week out.
Wow. Just kissing ass over here, huh? Check that out.
I'd argue, but I don't have the ability to form a good enough argument against that.
I'm sorry, Parrish. Your spot is still a rotation seat, okay? Maybe next season.
Just watch him perform in the Open Cup later. You'll see. He's worth keeping around.
And then what do we think about Aike stealing who was that? Was it Bernie's goal? Like someone else had the ball.
It wasn't Bernie. I don't remember who it was, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Kaika just
that
came in and
goal,
was like, "Thank
though,
you."
biggest takeaway for me on that goal was it's another one of those lessons in don't stop till the whistle blows.
Yep.
Because half of the AV team is there with hands up.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
here's the thing. No matter the level, and I see this in the Premier League too, that instinct to stop running and put
It's
your hand up needs to stop.
yeah.
As a manager, I would lose all my hair. I'd be like Bob Bradley at this point. Like, yo, what are we doing?
Seriously,
Every
it's
single
frustrating.
time, you know.
Well,
And then
even
what?
even
Yeah, go ahead.
sometimes the attackers stop. That
Well,
are with the
yeah,
guy.
that's true. Some of them. I think some of them, if it's obvious they're offside, they'll stop.
Sure.
But most of them are like, I'll just go and then we'll see.
It's obviously more annoying as a defender.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really frustrating. It's like, no, actually this game, the weekend game, never mind. That actually happened. Guy was clearly offside, and they let the play go on. And then when he almost scored, the linesman was like offside. And I'm like, well, that's a problem. But
you,
anyway,
you got to play to the whistle always, and that's the first thing you learn as a kid, right? And so if you can't do that, then maybe it's time to look for a new job. But Kaike opens his account in the 43rd minute, and we tucked our shirts in. How you doing?
Yep. Shirt's tucked.
Is he the
Or
first?
Kaike?
I don't know how far back you guys. Is he the first tucked guy we've had since?
Definitely not.
Ja'Cory Hayes. That was
No, definitely not. We've had people
7
before
years
that.
ago.
I just can't name them right now. I think Sanchez was a tuck shirt guy. Let's start with that.
Really? No, I'm
Yeah,
saying
from the beginning.
since Ja'Cory Hayes.
Oh, since Ja'Cory, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ja'Cory came out of college with a tuck shirt, and I think he's the last person. I think Rito did it for a little while, right?
Did Ulloa do it?
No, Victor was had swagger by the time he
Too
got
cool
here.
for that, yeah.
Yeah. He ended his career.
All right, we'll do our homework on that one. Let's do our homework.
Yeah. Come back to that.
I will say this: I want to see more shirts tucked because that the level of discipline is lacking.
Yeah. Was that Jordan Peele skit? Are you tucked though? Are you tucked though?
What were you saying, Parrish?
And I will say, back in the day, when you mentioned Sanchez, back in the day with those big blousey shirts, before everything was a size medium, you had to be tuck.
We used to be part of a society.
Right.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I still, I don't know how old you guys are, but I still miss late 80s, early 90s NBA basketball with like really short shorts.
My guy, the shorts are where it's at. I know for me, I used to ref, and like one of the reasons I told, at least it was kids, right? And like the highest I got was college level reffing. I told people to tuck their shirts in. I didn't necessarily enforce it at a higher level because it was your choice. But the reason we told people to tuck their shirts in had nothing to do with it being like gentlemanly or any of that. It was, if your shirt gets pulled out of your shorts, I know they grabbed your shirt.
Yes.
And I don't know if that effect happens at all in professionals, because we've seen plenty of shirts get pulled half a mile away and it doesn't get called. But
yeah,
that was at least the purpose in the youth level.
My whole shoulder out, but it doesn't, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Or you pull the tee and it rips it, and they're like, oh, I didn't see anything. I'm like, there's a
none happened. Your shirt just fell apart. It's Puma or something.
Funny enough, I think FIFA internationally, if you ever realize that, they have it tucked on the sideline. They check them, everything's good,
and then they pull it. Yeah.
And then the moment they run out, they're like pulling it out. And I'm like,
yeah, why you come out, you touch the grass, you cross yourself, and pull the shirt out.
Basically. But yeah, and then we got, last but not least, on the 3 goals, Bernard, Bernie
finally getting back on track.
Was
a little
a great
bit here in the Open Cup game. Excellent finish.
It was a really good finish.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Buzz talking about Bernie after the game. I think was talking about like the product that what led to that goal was probably that Bernie was running them ragged all game, which is good, right? Bernie had the energy that whole game and enough energy to throw them off at the end. And that's the best I could see that probably developed that is, Bernie running at the guy all game eventually wore the guy down. And I think that's where we saw the biggest difference between these two teams. I mean, the depth, right? AV Alta's guys were getting tired and they didn't really have the legs to replace them as much as we did.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And that will be a thing. This is going to be a topic. Something that I noticed in this Open Cup round, and this happens a lot, that conditioning matters. Guys who are doing this, 7 days a week, all day, every day, hitting the gym, really focused on, and they have the nutrition guys, they have the cardio coaches. At some point, it gets to a level where even the lower level pros, they've given everything they have, the tank's on empty, and the MLS guys still have 20 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was my theme for the whole Open Cup this week in general. Because we'll get into it when the actual cup conversation comes up in a little while, but yeah.
No,
So-
it's a good time. It's a W. We needed a W at home. I think.
Jeez.
I don't know. I don't know if we take it. It is a USL 1 club.
I don't know. I'll make it. Let's have a discussion here. We should be beating AV Alta by more than 2, right?
No.
I'm comfortable with a 2-goal win. And
I'm comfortable with it, but I feel like this seems good enough to have done more.
Yeah, but I tell you what, you take
The
take away that one bad bounce, one mistake by Collodi, it's a 3-0 game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. I don't know.
And yeah,
Okay.
and it's and like we said, it's a mistake where the kid can learn something. There are different types of 3-1 games. There are 3-1 games that feel like 5-1 games, and there are 3-1 games that feel like 2-2 games. This felt like a 3-1 game, quite frankly.
Okay.
And I'll take that. We had these guys running. I don't feel like I was ever afraid we were going to lose.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, we scored within 3 minutes. This was basically to get our guys back on track.
It felt like a get-right game to me.
Yeah,
That's
this
for
is
sure.
to find your form,
Get
get
healthy.
right.
Yeah, in boxing terms, this is what you call a warm-up, right? You want to go fight the champ, but you got to go fight a bum first.
Yeah.
Not to say AV Alta are bums.
I will never say that.
Those
Yeah.
guys have bombs. They're bombs,
Yeah.
Rock. They're bombs.
They're, you know.
And maybe you'd love to have this type of game against an Omaha or an Orange County. You can only play the guys they put in front of you.
No,
Yep.
for sure.
I mean, you played the last Cinderella, right?
Yeah.
Final 3-1 here. Dallas rolls on. They'll be heading to New Jersey, Harrison, Newark area next week to take on the New York Red Bulls that play in New Jersey. We'll get into that on the Cup conversation a little later on. But real quick, we'll go around real quick. Who's your man of the match? Who are you toasting to for this U.S. Open Cup? Parrish, we'll start with you.
I'm taking Bernie.
Okay.
In form, got the minutes. Good to see.
Hubert?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I actually haven't put much thought into who my man of the match was for it. I'm going Kaique. I think it was one of the first opportunities we've seen him to be just like the main guy for part of the game. I think like the last 20 minutes or so, he was the main guy, middle of the back there. I really enjoyed watching that. It's exciting to see that develop. And, you got your goal. Good for you. I think you had a solid game, and the goal is just a cherry on top for me.
How about you, Marcus?
I'm going my guy Siki, who was the facilitator there. But yeah, there's a lot more to see. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with him for that game, for the Open Cup.
For the Open Cup, I'm gonna go with Osaze. I think he
4 different ones. Let's go.
Yeah, I think Osaze led from the back here and did really well commanding the defense, and he was able to control that line in front of a young keeper, and I think he held out well. Kaique would probably be my second choice there, but since you already took him, I had to go a little bit different.
I mean, I'm a sucker for a 6 kind of guy, so.
Rolling right on here. Take a quick beer break. I'm drinking coffee right now because it's the middle of the workday for me. But anything interesting you guys have drank this week? I will say, you know what? I've seen around town a hell of a lot more than I have lately. I saw it at like 3 different restaurants this week. Was Roller Town's Big German. Not that it's an obscure reference.
I
or
have
anything
seen
else,
that thing everywhere.
It just seems to
you
be
can get
everywhere.
in the stadium now too.
Really? I didn't even know that. But
Yep.
Anything interesting you guys are drinking this week?
I have a Don Julio. I forget what they even
This
call
guy
it. It's like
fancy
a
over here.
clarified Don Julio, and
Clar-
like it's reposado, but it's clear, which is weird. I didn't know they could do that, and so that's been pretty good for me. And on top of that, on Wednesday, I think you were there. Some maniac brought a 15% beer to the beer exchange. I think it was from Rar and Sons. It was like some winter English ale, something or other.
I think that might have been Steven that brought that.
Yeah,
if I'm wrong, please correct me. But that was a solid option.
Well, it was delicious.
It was. I'm sure Ron Sons is great. They kind of peaked early because they were the official beer of the Rangers for a little while. Like I thought they were going to expand quite a lot, and then some business issues happened and they kind of fell back. But great beer. I think their brewery is still downtown Fort Worth. Like it's a great place if you want to go do a tour, for sure. When I used to live in Tarrant County, that was my go-to.
Somebody also brought some of the Tupps Chupacabra lager or whatever the Fang lager. That was surprisingly like light and crispy. It was more of a light beer than a lager in my opinion, but definitely something I could put down a dozen of at a tailgate.
Oh, we'd also be remiss if we didn't bring up community strawberry shortcake. That beer's been blowing my mind this year. Like, it was decent last year, but man, this year the strawberry shortcake ale is insane.
Top 5.
Especially when it's got the nice.
I walk out with a 6-pack every time.
Nice.
Yeah. I love that over the lemon tart that they keep trying to give us. I'm like, no.
You have anything good, interesting?
I had a so Wednesday at the tailgate, I had my growler of Naughty Brunette.
Nice.
Phenomenal amber ale that you can find at one of your local restaurants here in town. Again, not a sponsor, so they don't get the full plug. But
That's
also
fine. We're
over
trying
the
to
weekend-
get we're trying to get additional sponsors for the pod. Shout them out, and hopefully they'll pay us someday.
Yeah, I'd like to know where to get a $7 growler on game days.
I'll hit you up offline. I don't know that their
All right.
brand fits ours, so as a sponsor,
Okay.
if they want to talk to us, we'll talk.
Hey, sounds good to me.
Hubert, I know where you can get a free beer growler. I'm just saying.
I meant on Wednesdays, really, but yeah, you're right. All right, well,
I mean, hey, I honestly, I'm gonna have to pick up one of those DBG growlers. The one I have, I've got two growler bottles. One of them I picked up several years ago when I was living in a different state. It's branded with a little shop in my neighborhood. I love it. The other one is branded from a grocery store chain owned by someone I don't like. So I'm looking to replace that bottle. But over the weekend, I did enjoy. I cannot remember if this is Martin House or RAR, but a Dr. Bach.
Hey, I've had Dr. Bach.
Interesting.
Is this Dr.
Very
Pepper
good.
and beer? I'm confused.
You'll have to find it.
It's
Fair enough. I might have to look it up. I do want to give a plug though. Long sleeve jerseys on sale until this Saturday. Long sleeve jerseys on sale, and you might be getting an additional gift for everyone who purchases one. So
Special pre-order, online only. There will be no extras.
no second
Get-
run.
Get them now or don't get them ever.
Yeah,
this is the third kit for DBG. Yeah, this is not the red and blue. This is the special run. Yeah.
Special run, blue and gold. Look, you're gonna look great out there with your long sleeves in the sun in the Trinity. At the Trinity games, you won't get burned too much. It goes great with this hat. Nice match.
Yeah, for sure. So go sign up for our newsletter. You'll get the email notifications of everything that we do on a week-to-week basis. You can also sign up with your phone number. We don't spam you to death with texts. You literally only get it on game days. So go up and sign up for that so that we can communicate with you.
Yeah, because those texts are expensive.
That's a fact. All right.
Yep, rolling on here. This past Saturday at Toyota Stadium on a double match week, FC Dallas got the draw 1-1 with Real Salt Lake coming to town. I'm not satisfied with this draw. How are we feeling about it?
Yeah. This feels like a loss to me.
On a rewatch, I enjoyed the game more, but yeah, still feels like dropped points rather than earned point.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the game on first watch, but absolutely, this was a window was squandered here.
Yeah,
we had the opportunities for sure. That's
yes,
for real. Yeah, how do you want to approach this one? Starting with the goals.
No, well, let's look at the stats here. So shots on goal, 8 us, 7 them. Shots on target, 2 us, 3 them. Possession was basically even, 51% them, 49% us. Passes about even, about 500. Passing accuracy even, 83%. That's interesting.
Didn't
feel like that.
Divider than quality of shots or quality of opportunities kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, just. It's funny. I'm thinking back to the game, having been there, watching from my perch. I don't think either goalkeeper really worked. Right? It was one of them. Like I don't remember a lot of.
I think I remember Paz having one moment where more than anything, he just had to stand his ground and make himself big.
Yeah,
that went out for a corner, but that's the main one I can think of. Maybe there was a long shot that was. I wouldn't call it a save.
I mean, I know the long shot from Luna was an absolute beaut.
The goal? Holy cow, man.
What did they say? Up where the spider hangs his webs, bro. Like in the corner. There's nothing you can do about that.
I don't know how we don't have 2 people on that man every game now. Every team. Luna's just pulling random crap out. It's incredible.
It's like my man that used to play in Kansas City. What was the Scotsman that they moved on from now?
Johnny Russell, who now plays for Salt Lake.
It's like Johnny Russell. We know what he can do with his left foot, and we just kind of let him do it. Anyway. It's a weird thing. Yeah. So, beautiful shot by him. The defense didn't really step up. You don't allow a guy like that to do that.
Yeah, it's like they stepped up to the guy before him.
Yeah,
but didn't step up as hard on the next one. Again, I'm not gonna take away. That's a crazy finish to even squeeze where he squeezed it.
Yeah,
I mean, on paper, you've got two really evenly matched teams. What it looks like statistically, right?
Oh,
We got-
and I'm sorry, I can't talk about the defensive thing without saying Osaze pocketed Luna most of that game.
oh, absolutely.
Osaze is going to pocket most defenders.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
he's
it's worth mentioning a
Yeah.
player of Luna's quality though. Like Osaze did a great job.
Here's my thing. I think we've lost our identity, and this is a side note. I think the one frustrating bit I'm having here is that we used to have problems scoring goals, but never allowing them.
Yeah.
And now we're having problems on both ends, and that's really starting to get on my nerves. Right?
It's been weirdly going back and forth. It's been weird.
Yeah, like, and you know what's funny? I think what this team really needs right now is a Maxi Arudi, who I didn't know was still in MLS.
Yes.
But we need a
You got
workhorse.
Paris
who-
excited over there.
I'll be
man.
talking about Maxi later. I'll be talking to him next.
You
episode. Come back.
mean New England, Dallas, Austin, Houston, Portland,
Here's the
Montreal.
thing.
Legend.
He's a journeyman, and I don't get it. Is he a bad teammate? Is the money
Doesn't
too
seem that
expensive?
way, does it?
I don't get it. But on a
But
side note,
there's a level of guy in MLS that they love him everywhere he goes, but for some reason he never sticks around. Kai Kamara's coming back into the league at age 40. He's going to be playing for his, I think, 78th MLS team this year.
That's crazy.
I think Kai's only coming back because he wants to break Wando's record, but I think he's like 20 away, and I don't see him getting 20, to be honest.
40,
Hey, more power to you to try, I guess.
Yeah, you know.
I mean,
But-
there are different types of guys. You know, when you get to a point, you gotta ask yourself why you're playing. And there's a type of guy that just loves it. That they play for the passion of the game. I mean, the late great Ricky Henderson. It had to get to a point where there wasn't an organized baseball team in the country that said Ricky can still play. That man played to what, 45, 46, 47?
What a call out.
Had all the
That's
money
a
he
heck
needed.
of a
Yeah.
player.
That's a note right there. So I'm rewatching this highlight here of Luna's goal, and he basically shifted his weight on Kaique, and Siki was a step off. And there's really nothing you can do when it kisses the inside of the post as a goalkeeper.
No,
So
absolutely not.
that's
You're
one of
saying-
those. Yeah, that's one of those. You tip your hat and you turn around and just go to half, right? You just
It's
like
perfect shot, right? What do you
so-
do? You can't
You're
block a
saying-
perfect shot sometimes.
But
You're saying, why don't we
interestingly,
have?
no, go ahead.
You're saying why don't we have why don't we have that guy doubled? We did.
I guess we did. Yeah.
That's why I had to check. I'm like,
Yeah, I'll
wait,
leave
it
Carl
looks
on
like
that one, you're right.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what were you saying, Dennis?
No, so Dallas had 8 shots on goal, or 8 shot attempts to RSL's 7, and Dallas had 2 shots on goal to RSL's 3, right? So this wasn't an offensive slugfest that we were looking at here.
No,
It felt like
and
we had more of the
let's-
ball.
It was the ESPN stats show Salt Lake had 50.5% possession to our 49.5%.
I think you're pretty much seeing it 50-50 most
Yeah,
places.
it was.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the table, we're 13th. We're 12. They're 13th. It's like we're right there.
It did
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
make sense for it to come out
Yeah,
the way it
but-
did. Well, let's talk about Julio's goal real quick, because I think a good chunk of our
that
XG,
was a beautiful goal.
yeah,
That
I
was
think
a
a good chunk
gorgeous
of our
goal.
XG comes from straight up Julio's shot right there. And I want to give credit to Bernie there. If you watch the replay, Bernie jumps over that ball like they had this psychic connection where he's ready to jump as soon as Julio takes that shot. And I'm sure that's part of the reason nobody gets to it. I'm not stealing anything from Julio, but Bernie's brain was working there.
If only his brain and feet would work more in concert. But that's look at Dennis in the highlight package. Okay, I see you there. The bright red kits really pop on.
Was that was after after Julio's goal?
Yeah.
I had the red and white flag up, right?
Yeah, you were waving.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I forgot Junka was on RSL, and I
Yeah.
forgot Julio was from RSL, which makes
Yeah,
the
it was
goal
a flip.
which made the goal sweeter for him. I'm sure it was
Oh,
more
yeah.
of a why'd you get rid of me type joint. So no, it was good on him. He beat the guy 1-2 touch. So
It's
much
a guy
for-
who knows his abilities, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's when I've always said, like, this is the frustration I have with Bernie is like when you're running at a guy, all you have to do is get his weight to be off even the slightest bit, and you've won. The problem with Bernie is that he gets stood up a lot,
And
Like,
he'll run
he
right
just-
into him sometimes.
Yeah, he'll
too.
just. I'm
Yeah.
like, do something, move your hips, but
Yeah.
whatever. Either way, beautiful goal by Julio. I think a revenge.
You see that Bernie jump I was talking about on that highlight?
I do see it. He was.
I got to give
he
him
was-
some credit there.
I mean, he could have been one of those really annoying selfish guys who are like, I'm going to tip it in last minute, even though it was going in anyway, and then try to claim it. Hate those guys, as far as the teammate goes. But the big controversy, as one might say, to dive or not to dive, that is the question.
Oh my God, isn't it?
And the question is, he definitely dove. So
yeah, well, I want to talk about that red card too.
Hubert, you wanted to bring up this red card. I'll give you the floor here.
I understand the argument that there was contact made, but a foul is not defined by contact, right? And this guy went down so easy. It's not even that part that I want to talk about, though. What I want to talk about is this motherfucker should have had a red card when he got the first yellow. Have you watched that tackle again? This dude came in studs up, both feet. Guy should have been out in the 51st minute.
Yeah, they tend to give you a little bit of a break if the offensive player jumps out of the way. I don't think they should.
Yeah, and maybe that's it. But like, that's so frustrating. The guy's not even facing him directly. It was horrible. That's a red in most leagues.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think that was one of soccer gods giveth and taketh, maybe. I don't know. But we should have been man up for longer, in my opinion. I don't know that would have made a difference because we didn't look like we were playing a man up anyway. But
that's the issue I was going to bring up earlier.
I know the RSL players are furious about getting another red. It's not that they thought the red was wrong, but they're just like, cool, let's get another red card. I guess that's a theme of their season this year.
Yeah, it looks like.
And I will add, I know a few people who've gone into refereeing. And one of the refereeing lessons they've taught me is that just because the guy dives doesn't mean he wasn't fouled.
And that's fair.
And the other end of that then has to hold true. Just because you were touched doesn't mean you didn't dive.
Right.
And that
makes
looked
sense.
like it was from the replays I saw on it, it looked like maybe a touch, if so a small one.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely embellishment trying to get a PK. And in this level, you can't not get a yellow for that.
Yeah, and I wish we would see this more in Major League Soccer and the world game in general. Is okay, the player went down as if he got hit, and you're telling me it's not a penalty, but you're not going to card the guy for diving or embellishment. Where's the disconnect here? It's one or the other, isn't it? Especially when you VAR it like they did this one.
Yeah,
to confirm it.
So here's my issue.
Marcus was saying, like, my shirt's ripped. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Right.
So my only issue with giving him a card for this, it was embellishment. I will give him that. My only issue is I wouldn't have given him a card because he didn't ask for it. Right? I would only have given him a card if he fell and then got up and was like, "Oh, penalty!" Then I'm giving him a card.
Hold on. He was on the ground with his hands up, though.
Yeah, but he didn't say anything. No. So I watched the replay. He said nothing. His teammates didn't ask. No one asked for a penalty in that sequence.
I think he knew that he was already in trouble and decided that after he flopped, he wasn't going to throw his hands up. He wasn't going to do anything else, and he knew he was caught. He was like it's like the kid that got caught with the candy in his hand. He knew.
Like if I was him, I would have gotten up and ran back on defense.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Nothing happened. But the fact that he laid there and he was like, is he or isn't he type thing? Like one of them things is like either everyone goes into the ref's ear and be like, hey, is that a penalty? Or no one does anything. But what happened there is a sequence of I'm going to try to play coy, and then you got caught, right? And good on pause for pulling up the landing gear when he did. Like, good slide. To be honest, I've seen that call a penalty, and it frustrates me every time.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? I slide next to you, and you run into me, and then say it was a penalty. And I'm like, that's not really how it's supposed to work. But yeah, what do you think, Dennis, about the double yellow?
I do agree with you that it should come a little earlier. I think the first one could have been a red, but I don't think it would have made a difference. Look, you can control what you can control, right? You can't control when another team fouls you. You can't control how their players are going to perform. You can go out there and control how you play, how your team plays, your formations, your tactics. But I think when they were up a man here, I think they really did not capitalize on it, and they really should have been able to close this out. You had 20 plus with up a man with fresh legs, Musa coming off the bench, who should have been in better form than I think we all expected. He came in late, and we're glossing over the biggest piece of news here. Welcome home, Paxton Pomykal.
Beautiful.
I mean,
but
the king. I know, right? The king is home. Long live the king.
If you knew nothing about this game, you knew nothing about this team, this was your first time watching this club, and you saw those two guys come in, and I told you both of those guys were coming back from injury. One was coming off from a couple of weeks layoff. One was coming off from a year-plus layoff. You would have thought it was Musa that was coming off the year-plus layoff, and PAX was coming off a couple of weeks.
It feels a little harsh to me for Musa. Musa was out more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's
a month and a half.
Yeah, three games, so at least a month. Yeah,
I mean, PAX has been out 400+ days, right? And his form looked great. And I'm not that I'm
PAX has been conditioning. Musa's been staying off it.
Yeah, you're right. But like I said, just two guys coming on the field at the same time.
I agree though. Yeah, he did look rusty. The positive I want to say here though was he and Lucho were on the same page immediately, which was
absolutely. And that's
whether the passes were coming off, that's a whole other conversation. And
that was refreshing to see, and it'd be nice to see them again this week at a full 90 clip. We are running a little tight here, but attendance was 11,004, so that is a sellout, right? That's the full capacity of the
I can't remember
stadium.
At this point. Yeah.
I don't know if that's turnstile or that's tickets sold as in the seats. I do not know.
Can we also say it was really nice to see Paxton's passing, and I think that's going to be super, super beneficial for this team.
Pax looks good, and I am excited to see him back playing a full 90 minutes. Ideally this week, but I don't know. Yeah.
No, he's not. I think it's Siki for the next 2 weeks, and then Pax is going to swap.
I think you're right. I don't think we're seeing full 90 Paxton for a couple of weeks.
Leget's out, so Leget's the starter, right? It's his spot to basically lose. And then we're going to rotate.
I don't know if Leggett is the full-time starter with a healthy Paxton. I think it's going to be a toss-up. I think it's going to be I think it's a little bit of platooning there.
I think we'll wait and see on that one. Yeah,
we'll see. But I think it's the way
that's a
Leggett
problem
was
for a
playing,
month from now.
Yeah,
that's a fact, right? And then what do we think about Nelson? Is he replacing Farfan, or are we missing Farfan? Because there were
Norris.
Yeah. Norris. What did I say?
You said Nelson.
No? Oh, sorry.
Hey, it's all right. Young, baby-faced left back. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're great. But what do we think about him replacing Farfan? I just wanted to get y'all note on that.
I think they're playing at a similar. I think he's playing at a similar level that Marco was playing at, and I'm hoping there's competition there. I think that Nolan's passing, especially his long ball, is much better, and we may end up beating that more. That being said, finding out that Marco has been playing injured for the better part of a year and a half.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see what that quality comes back to. But at the end of the day, you're going to play who did better, right? And I think Quill wants that competition. I think that when Marco comes back, Nolan's going to have to lose the position.
Yeah, there's a little veteran bias is this thing, right? You
might be right.
And Marco's a young veteran, right? He's been in the league a while, but he's only 27, 28. Like, he's a kid still. So, although in soccer terms, you got like 4 more years left. But yeah, go ahead.
This is also Quill's first time at. He's used to Next Pro, where guys are fighting to be there. So I don't know if he's got that veteran bias ingrained in him the way some other people might. And I feel like one of the great criticisms of MLS in general is that players get complacent. Rosters aren't deep enough, benches aren't strong enough, and so once you're in the starting 11, you figure you're fine in the league for a while.
Okay, I'm gonna Parrish one moment. Once we get in our USL discussion, which we'll bring you back for, I'm gonna disagree with you. USL Next Pro is an absolute reserve league, right? You know who you're gonna play from game to game. The only question is whether or not the main club is gonna send the guy down. Right, this is some AAA nonsense.
I would say that the exception to that is a couple of teams, and North Texas is one of them.
Well, like Tacoma is different, right? Because I don't think they have any reserve players on that team. Like, it's really weird. Like
you could argue the keeper, but that's about it. Like,
yeah, for sure, yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of next. Now that being said, next 3 or 4 years, I think they're adding 4 independent clubs that aren't assigned to anyone. So we'll
that's
see how
so awkward. That's gonna be those clubs.
It's definitely gonna be fun to watch.
We've got a couple now, though, don't we?
No, just one. Just Chattanooga.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts, man of the match, as we look at FC Dallas 1, Real Salt Lake 1. Marcus, we'll start up top with you this time.
I'm gonna have to go with the man who scored. I mean, he's really. There's a lot of guys. We could do Kaique, who's been solid in the middle. We're gonna have to discuss Show and whether or not we send them back on loan or something.
No Show.
That's a big talk. Yeah,
absolutely killing me. But yeah, we all, I think, cheer for Paxton. So I'm gonna go, Julio for scoring and Paxton for making because I think Paxton. I think we all agree this is Paxton's last shot, right? If he
It's
gets
gotta
injured,
be.
if he gets injured again,
Sorry,
it's done.
last shot for this kind of contract for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. But yeah, go ahead. Let's go, Hubert. Who's your man?
Yeah, it's got to be Julio for me. Aside from just the goal, I think he also was running them ragged, and it led to that goal, right?
Yeah.
I think his energy up and down that side is exhausting for the other team.
Yeah, for sure.
Parrish, man of the match.
It's absolutely an emotional pick. You know, there wasn't so much in the result that makes me say this was the guy that made the game, but the guy who's going to have the most impact from this game going forward, it's Paxton for me. He didn't contribute a whole lot, but he was there, and that's what we needed. And that was the as a spectator, that was the emotional highlight of the match for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with PAX as well, and I think what really puts it over the edge for me for it being PAX is if you go back and watch that game, not just the supporter section, but watch that entire stadium get up, get on their feet. 11,004 people supposedly on their feet, making noise, and for a fan base that gets gets some flack from time to time about being a little too family friendly and not supportery enough. I do think that they really showed out and really respected this man coming back.
Paxton felt it too. He said it after the
Yep.
game. He felt it. He loved the fan support there. It was a big deal for him. I think it's worth mentioning that the supporter section voted for Anderson Julio as our man of the match. And I want to say
on paper and tactically and professionally, that is the correct choice.
There was one person, I don't know who you were, that voted for, honestly, no one.
I mean, honestly, no one.
That's probably Marcus.
Quick note before we go to the Trinity game. Do we think they should have ran Paxton out for the Open Cup and gave him 60 minutes?
Nah.
No,
you don't want to play it against a level 2 team that might not be up to snuff. Somebody takes a dive at his legs and his career's over. I don't want to say that.
I really do think we need to stop that particular trope. These guys are professional, right? A lot of them are former MLS guys who are falling down or academy grads. I watch all these games and I haven't seen any Sunday League.
I'm not saying that there are Sunday League guys, but you run into the potential where that's possible when you're playing a League 2 side. And
I think this far in the cup, I don't think that's happening much.
Yeah, I'm like, the only issue I have is the earlier ones where they're playing at like rec fields, and some of these fields are terrible.
Yeah, that scares me more than the players.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. So Dallas Trinity,
this game,
the maroon and gold.
Did you all watch this game?
I did. We were actually having our it was on during our leadership meeting, and I kept turning back to my TV like this and going, what? Over and over again.
I have feelings that I don't want to talk about in this game, but Dallas got their 2 goals in the first half, I believe, right?
Yep.
Solid goals, taking advantage where they need to take advantage. Ellie Thornton had a gorgeous goal to keep bringing up her tally and her case for the Golden Boot. But man, something switched in that second half. There was slight disorganization, and DC was making some slightly different runs. It seemed like they were coming in. They were doing this thing where they were coming in at a box level. They would cut in, and it was working every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And they got their 3 goals and came back on Trinity and won 3-2, which was hard to stomach.
And that last one was in
the last one was a dagger in the last minute of the game, basically. And
it was pretty much the last kick of the game, right?
Yeah. We seem to be hitting a run of weird form, which is unfortunate coming into the playoffs. We've dropped to 3rd place, which puts us out of home field advantage. That being said, we could still win this regular season. Yep. We have to win out, and
we know we need some help.
Drop points, but kind of not feeling like they're up for it right now. And I think part of the problem, and God, I really hate to say this, where's Brooks the last couple of games?
Go ahead, Parrish, you have some?
Yeah, I partly with that, but also I'm just wondering, it is the first season. You sometimes wonder if these guys, if they've just hit the wall.
Maybe. And it has been a long season too, right? Yeah. It's a split season. They started in October, September?
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a long year.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen the bastard that Brooks was most of the season, and it feels like that fall off has happened too fast, though.
Yeah.
So I'll say this, and I think some of it in last week's game had to do with the travel and everything else, but Amber can't play defending and attacking midfield, right? She can't play both positions at once, and I think that's what they're asking of her. It's get forward, get attacking, and then also get back on defense and be the stopper. And I don't think that there is enough skill to go around on this team to have her have to be up and down the midfield constantly, right? And she's got some years under her belt, and she's a little bit more of a veteran than most of this club. But I think you asking somebody to get back and forward and back and forward and back and forward, you run out of gas.
Yeah, for me, it's got to do at this point more than anything with our subs aren't doing anything for us now, and our depth is terrible right now because of so many injuries still. I hate to blame injuries because that's not going to be it, but I mean, you could see it on McDonald's face, the coach at the end of the game, just
disappointment.
What do I do different at this point? Our offense can be scary, but I don't know. I'm not really sure what the correcting measure here is, and I would like to not enter a run of bad form right before playoffs. That'll be unfortunate. I still think this team's got the potential to pull something off, and they can beat any other team in this league. I mean, shoot, even with injuries, we performed against teams like Carolina. Maddie White also didn't. I'm not blaming any of these goals on Maddie, but there were some where maybe her positioning could have been slightly better, for better or for worse. Just rough times in the back. That's all.
So this is going to be my small contribution because I only watch the highlights. Unfortunately, their schedule and my work schedule never line up. But last 5 games is loss, draw, win, 2 losses. That's not great.
No.
And I do want to make a funny note. Lexington SC is at the bottom of the table in Super League and the bottom of the table in the USL Championship.
Oh, that hurts.
So as an organization, they've got to do something. That being said, they were a League One side last year and they moved up both. I don't know if they got new investors or whatever. So maybe this is one of those instances where like ProRel is a good thing. It's like maybe you shouldn't have made that jump. Maybe you weren't ready.
No,
right?
sure. Yeah.
And then with this, as far as the Super League goes, like I mentioned to Dennis earlier, I'm going to bring it to the pod. So as a side note, so the women's CONCACAF championship, apparently I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently they're trying to build that, which is great. I think leading into the 27, is that when we hold the Women's World Cup, right? 27?
Yeah. 20,
yeah,
I think it's 20. Yeah.
So I think leading into that, there's a lot of investment in women's sport, and I'm really excited for that. We talked about that last week with all the leagues that are coming up, and CONCACAF obviously wants to get into that. They're doing the Women's Gold Cup and now this Champions League and USL Super League, even though it has a Division I status, did not get invited. So there was some uproar. But like I discussed, I think the chances are it's because it's the season. There hasn't been a full season, so there was no champion because that's who you would have designated to.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that next year, when there's a second year on the belt, that would go forward. But I think this is all awesome stuff. I'm rooting for these ladies. Not just our local team. I want this league to survive. I want I want alternatives to paying a half.
Yeah.
To paying $150 million for a soccer franchise. So
yes, please.
That being said, we're third, 40 points. Unfortunately, we can fall out because the 4th and 5th teams are 38, and so we're within reach. So
this race is extremely close. Any final thoughts on Trinity, real quick?
I want to make sure that we've pointed out that Brooklyn, who's in 5th, has a game in hand, though.
Yep. Dallas has.
No, we have a game in hand. They're at 27. We're all at 20.
All right, I'm flipping it. They've played one more game, so they can only get 3 more points.
Yeah, and Fort Lauderdale has only played 24. I don't know how that math works out there.
So if we can get a point in the next 2 games, we're guaranteed playoffs.
Okay.
The main thing is, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about home field advantage through the playoffs, and if we're going to get that back, it's going to be tough. And if Carolina gets even a point, I think next 2 weeks, then we can no longer win the whole thing, which is unfortunate. Obviously, we do what we got to do in the next couple of games, finish up and see where we go.
Okay.
So
no, go ahead.
The margin for error in soccer playoffs is much less than it is in other sports. But I will note, the Dallas Stars lost their last 7 on the trot in the regular season, and they have figured it out in the playoffs now. So it seems losing that emotional bite hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got your spot, I can see taking a little bit off the gas to make sure that you've got complete mixed metaphor here, to make sure you got dry powder for the playoffs.
For sure.
Yeah.
So no, another end of that discussion, or not end of that discussion. Just want to let everybody know, Trinity has 2 more games.
Yep.
Saturday the 24th. They're
A
traveling
little
to
bit,
Fort
a little bit of
Lauderdale.
a little bit of a rest period before the next one. So we got 12 days from now. So it's like 14 days off, almost full 2 weeks off.
And
24th
that's
is a 24th is a home game.
no,
24th
so
is
wait.
on the road at Fort Lauderdale.
Lauderdale.
The watch, yep, the watch party will be at our good friends at Community Beer. We'll be hosting that watch party. That is a 6:30 Central Time kickoff, and that
Yep.
game's available on Peacock.
And then
Buy
home
me
for, no, yeah, buy you a $7 growler. Is that what you're gonna say?
buy me at the watch party for that one. Make sure to buy me a beer and wish me happy birthday.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. We'll be there. They do
Shameless
end.
plug.
They do end the season on the 31st at home at 7 p.m. at the Cotton Bowl. I think the 31st is a Saturday, right?
That is
Yes.
a
Fortunately,
Saturday.
there's an FC Dallas home game that night as well, so we'll see what happens there between
With the
our
attendance code.
fans.
Okay, we'll have to split allegiances there.
Mhm.
It's also
Yeah.
Champions Final that morning too. So it's gonna be a busy day.
Oh, Champions League? Oh, for sure. Last 2 notes for local soccer here. Texoma is getting a little better.
They didn't lose.
They didn't
Get
lose.
some
They're only
points.
7 games, 2 points. They got the last 2 games. It's something. We got to rock with that. Unfortunately for them, it's a first-year team, and attendance seems to be steady. I think they're hovering at just north of 1,000 per game.
It's
So,
been dropping
Which
the
I'll leave
last couple
crow on
weeks.
that. I didn't think it would be, so I was wrong.
well, average, because they started off high. They started off closer to 3, and it's been going down a bit. They had a couple of Wednesday games because USL has USL Cup, which is usually on a Wednesday, so that doesn't help.
Which is incredible. Please watch it.
Oh, for sure. USL. I'm glad they have that.
Jägermeister
tournament.
Cup is awesome.
Jägermeister
yeah.
Cup.
Yeah.
So support them, and then we will go on a deeper dive. But we now know the name. I don't know if we discussed this last time. We now know the name of the new kids on the block, and it's going to be Atletico Dallas.
Hubert and I talked about this last week. Where were you?
I can't remember what we talked about.
Oh, did y'all?
Other than they
Never mind.
exist.
We will have a specific pod on just that. Just
USL
local
deep
teams.
dives.
Yeah, for sure, coming soon. But yeah, so those 2 things. Their next game is this Saturday at 7 p.m. They're playing at home against Omaha. So if you can make the trip to Texoma,
But more importantly, this coming Saturday is a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah.
We are home, and we are hosting the U-Stank Dynamo.
Ooh, the Dynamo. I am freaked out about
the
playing against
Dynamo.
McGlynn, man.
I know, right?
McGlynn's in form now.
Oh my
Coming
goodness.
out on the line.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah,
Hey, the good news is if we get even a point here, we get the cannon.
Yeah.
we have to maintain a point, and I believe there's some goal differential involved there too, right?
I'm
So
sure there
as
is.
long
I
as
don't
they
really remember
score,
how that one works.
yeah, as long as we can hold, if we can hold them to a goal and get a point. But you know what, I Coach Quill, I need more than a point from Houston. I need a win. I need a decisive win over this team. And we're going to be out there. We're going to be loud and proud. Obviously, shout out to Community Beer. They'll be providing the cold ones for us. Chef Matt will be getting a crawfish boil going. We're going to be flexing that Cajun muscle. So,
hey, it's also Western night, so pull out those Stetsons.
I don't own a Stetson.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'll be there.
No
I'll pull my
rodeo.
black hat out.
No rodeo championship belts. Keep that stuff at home. We're good. But for sure, lots of things.
I might bring my championship belt.
Oh my goodness! Do you smell what Dennis? Never mind. So
You smell what Chef Matt's cooking?
I smell
Sure.
that.
I do have an MLS Cup 2006 rodeo belt.
Of course you
It's
do.
one of the greatest pieces of swag the league's ever produced.
You
What?
absolutely
I
should
might
bring
have
that
to
this
wear that.
weekend. That needs to come out
Send
this
me a
weekend.
picture of that after this.
For
Holy
sure.
cow.
But,
All right,
yeah,
folks. Any final thoughts before we sign off here? Because we're just up on time.
I will say 2 words. Fuck Houston.
Fuck Houston.
Support local soccer. Support local beer. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, see you when we see you.
Gentlemen, anything you'd like to add to that?
Excited to have Paxton back. I think his passing is going to make a big difference for us going forward. Excited that some players are starting to get healthy, and that Musa Lucho connection will hopefully keep blossoming the way it had started going.
Parrish, final thoughts?
I know we talked about, like, we had some questions about what is this team's identity. I think this is our team's identity. That
Okay.
you are who your record says you is, and I think we're the type of guys that are going to go out there and run a team but not have much to show for it. We're going to be tough on the road but lose something. We're going to we're inconsistency can be an identity.
Oh no, we're gonna be a mid-table English club. We went from Spanish to English.
Are we Everton now? We're Everton now. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Thank you for not saying Brentford.
I didn't. Not that bad. Come on, some respect.
Anyway, but yeah, Dennis, go ahead and lead us out, man.
Mid table.
Mid-table. Well, let's try and hope for better than mid-table.
Manchester
But
United.
go up,
Don't give me that.
show up, get loud, stay proud, stay hydrated. Guardians out.
Peace.
Cheers.